Hey, today I'm going to talk about 3 horror movies, and their titles are The Crazies, The Frighteners, and Phenomena. It's gonna be real spooky. Sort of. More bloody. Pretty bloody. There's a lot of blood. First up is The Crazies is a 1973 George A. Romero movie, and it's pretty good. The basic premise, it's essentially just a zombie movie, except they're not zombies, they're crazy. So like instead of the zombies going for brains and eating people and stuff, they do still kill people, but they also do weird stuff. Like they break things for no real reason and just kind of go mad. Or like they'll just keep knitting and then you get close to them and then they stab you with a needle and then go back to knitting with a bloody needle. And there's a lot of good creeps in this. It's a pretty dang solid movie. I will say I liked his other movie that I watched this year more, but this one's more polished. In a sense, it feels like an improvement, but it's also, he was also just trying lots of things. And a lot of it works. There's definitely some bits in there that don't work, but it's still a really solid movie. I don't really have any negative things to say about it, though there was like one scene where 2 people were talking to each other, but they were both framed so they're like both looking to the left, and it just looks like they're both just talking to a wall and they're not actually talking to each other. And like that scene went on for a really long time, and it wouldn't have been like it was a good scene had they actually been looking, one person been looking in the right direction, but they weren't. So it was just like, oh my god, what's happening? But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was good. It was fun. It was fine. I would say if you're into like classic horror films, it's definitely a must watch. If you're kind of more of a casual horror fan, if you're interested in it, go for it. It's probably not going to blow your mind, but you're not in for a bad time, that's for sure. Next up is The Frighteners. This is a 1996 Kiwi movie directed by Peter Jackson, produced by Robert Zemeckis, and with music by Danny Elfman. And you can just feel those people's style just like all over this movie. It's impossible to ignore. It stars Michael J. Fox, and the basic premise is Michael plays a con man who does paranormal exorcisms, basically. It's pretty good. It's interesting. There is one word that perfectly describes this movie, and that word is zany. This movie is just, it's the textbook definition of zany. I enjoyed it though. The zaniness could be a bit much at times, but it worked more often than not. My big complaint about it would just be dated CGI. There's some ghosts in it, and those ghosts look really, really good. I like those a lot. They were my highlight of the movie, really. But then there was also this like ghostly monster thing that you're not really sure what it is for a lot of it, and it's 90s CGI. It just looks like a CGI black blob floating around, and I'm like, okay. It's fine. It's the 90s, I'm not expecting the best, but still, with how good the other ghosts look and how good a lot of the other effects looks, it's disappointing when like the big thing you're supposed to be really scared of it still doesn't look good. Even with that I still enjoyed a good amount of this movie. It's a lot of fun. If you're looking for something that's crazy and zany and out there, this is definitely a fun watch. And lastly is Phenomena. This is a 1985 movie starring a 15-year-old Jennifer Connelly. She is a baby in this. The basic premise is Jennifer Connelly just switches to this all-girls academy thing, and there is some psycho killer who's out there killing girls who go to this school. But don't worry, Jennifer Connelly has the ability to talk to insects, and she uses this power to investigate the murders. It's exactly as weird as it sounds. Besides the end, I really didn't care for this movie. I was kind of bored with a lot of it, And I was a struggle to keep my attention. To be fair, I did get my second COVID shot today and I was a little sleepy because of that, but it was a struggle bus for me. The acting wasn't good, the dialogue wasn't good, the bugs were just weird. It was just a strange experience. That all being said, we get to the end of the movie and things just kind of go balls to the walls crazy, and it was a surprisingly good ending. It wasn't enough to save the movie for me, but I did enjoy what happened there, and it made me happy that I didn't just shut off this movie when I realized I couldn't really pay attention to it. It also kind of blows my mind just how bad Jennifer Connelly is in this. It's just like, she was in The Labyrinth a year later, and it's so much better. I didn't enjoy it, I don't recommend it. Just watch The Labyrinth instead. It's such a good classic. Alrighty, now for today's rankings. First up, we have The Crazies, sitting at number 61 in the liked category. And then not too far behind it is The Frighteners, sitting at number 64 in the liked category. And then bringing up the rear is Phenomena, sitting at number 107 at the very top of the didn't liked category. And this is out of a total of 117 movies so far this year.